I'm going to talk a little bit more about war. Not because I want to, and not because I think it will do any good. I know it's pointless. I know it doesn't do any good. That's almost why I'm going to do it. I came across a number that shocked me. In the first 155 days of this year, which we call 2012, how many active duty American soldiers have committed suicide? I think we can agree that amongst the things we do in this life, suicide is, let's say, decisive, final. So how many soldiers have taken their lives so far this year? 154. Nearly one per day. That number is greater than the number of American soldiers killed by the enemy. Digest that, if you will, if you can. And that, for me, begs the question, who is the enemy? Do our soldiers know who the enemy is? Can they identify the enemy, clearly distinguish between civilians and enemies? No, of course not. We've got ourselves and our soldiers in that terrible position again, that awful trap. We do not send them out to fight. They are there to occupy, to protect our interests. As such, they make highly visible, highly desirable targets. They are sitting ducks. They are fish in a barrel. And for some of them, 154 so far this year, the number no doubt already higher, they prefer to kill themselves rather than face another day, or God forbid, another tour. It's too much. They can't do it. And they can't not do it either. That's not an option. So they do the only thing they can, the one way out. There's no helping them. They can't even help themselves. They can't say anything to anyone. It would seem unmanly or even cowardly. And what if they did step away? They'd have to live with the guilt of the one who was killed in their place. This is the biggest don't ask, don't tell there ever was. How's it going, soldier? And we continue to send our young people into this terrible situation. Occasionally the president will swoop in, all unannounced, a surprised visit, and try to bolster the troops. We say they are there to liberate the people living there. We do our best to believe this, that we are operating in the cause of freedom. We have to believe this. Otherwise, the casualties we suffer would be for nothing, and we can't have that. Lincoln stood at Gettysburg, a scene of unbelievable carnage, a slaughter more than a battle, and he said, "These men did not die in vain." There has to be a reason, and it had better be a good one. People are not going to go out there and die for no good reason. But governments are very good at concocting causes and sending out the troops. Wars are notoriously easy to start and miserably difficult to end. And when the bodies come back home, or sometimes not a body, but what we call the remains, we line the streets, there's a solemn ceremony, and we say this man or woman was a hero. We can't begin to think that this person died for nothing. And we went and we sent him out to do it. The Roman Empire ran out of gas because it sent troops out to the far reaches, not to fight enemies, but to extend its hegemony. As causes go, when lives are at stake, that cuts into what I'll call a gray area. A soldier existing in squalid conditions, far from home, not fighting as he was trained to do, but trying to maintain order in a population that views him largely as an invader, has to wonder if one more province, this wretched one specifically, is worth his life. Into that gray area, whether it's called Korea, Vietnam, the Gulf, Iraq, or Afghanistan, we have sent our soldiers to die. I'm not sitting here like some Johnny Snotnose blaming others for this, or thinking that I would have acted differently had I been in charge. I am saying that in the first 155 days of this year, 154 soldiers on active duty killed themselves. I wonder what kind of a burial they will get.